Hi, my name is Adam. Last weekend, I went on a special trip with my friends. We went to the desert. We met at 3 p.m. on Friday. We packed our things in 2 cars: tents, blankets, water, food, a cooler, and a lot of snacks. The drive was fun. We played music and laughed. After 2 hours, we arrived at the perfect spot in the desert. No people, no noise, just sand and wind. We worked together to set up the big tent. Then we collected dry wood to make a fire. Everyone helped. We placed our chairs in a circle and waited for the sunset. It was beautiful. The sky turned orange, red, and then dark blue. After sunset, we made hot tea on the fire and started to prepare meat for dinner. We used a small grill to cook it. The smell was amazing. While the meat was cooking, we opened the cooler and ate some snacks: chips, nuts, and fruit. The air started to feel cold, so we put on jackets and wrapped ourselves in blankets. The stars began to appear. 1, 2, then many. We turned on a small lamp and sat on our chairs, talking and laughing. It was a perfect night in the desert. We sat in a circle around the fire. The sound of the wind in the desert was calm. The lamp was on, and the tent behind us looked perfect. One of my friends brought his oud and started to play soft music. It made the night feel magical. We drank more hot tea and told funny stories. I shared a story about my last trip to the mountains. My friends laughed so much. After that, we started to talk about life, dreams, and silly things too. At some point, the stars began to appear. 1, then 2, then many. The whole sky was full of stars. I looked up and said, "Wow, this is the real desert experience." Then one of the guys said, "Let's grill the meat now." We all stood up and helped. Someone prepared the meat, another set the grill, and I brought more wood to keep the fire strong. We used salt, pepper, and a little lemon. The smell of the grilled meat filled the air. We waited with hungry eyes. While waiting, we enjoyed more snacks from the cooler and used extra blankets because it was very cold. Finally, the meat was ready. Juicy, hot, and tasty. We all ate together. Every bite was amazing. I said, "This is better than any restaurant." After dinner, we moved our chairs closer to the fire and kept talking. It was a perfect night in the desert, with music, food, and great friends. After we finished eating, we cleaned the area. We threw the trash in a bag and made sure the cooler, cups, and dishes were clean. One of my friends brought more wood, and we made the fire stronger. The sound of the burning wood was relaxing. Then we all took our blankets and sat again on the chairs.
The air was cold, but the fire and the blankets kept us warm. One guy said, "Let's make tea again." So we made more hot tea and enjoyed it slowly. We looked at the stars, talked about our favorite childhood memories, and planned our next trip. One friend said, "Next time, let's go with camels." We all laughed, but then we saw a real camel walking slowly near us. We were surprised. The camel didn't come close, but it looked peaceful. It walked near a tree and sat down. We watched it for a while and then turned back to the fire. Later, we turned off the lamp so we could see the stars better. The sky was full of lights. Every star was bright and beautiful. We stayed outside until late at night. We kept talking, drinking tea, and eating little snacks from the cooler. We shared stories, gave advice, and sometimes just stayed quiet, listening to the wind and the fire. It was one of the best nights of my life. Simple, peaceful, full of real connection. I felt thankful for my friends, the food, the quiet desert, and the warm blanket on my shoulders. At midnight, we started to feel sleepy. One by one, my friends stood up and stretched. The fire was smaller now, and the desert became very quiet. We took our lamp and went inside the tent. Inside, we put our blankets on the floor and got ready to sleep. It was a big tent, but still a little tight with all of us inside. We placed the cooler near the door in case someone needed water or snacks at night. Before sleeping, we continued to talk. We whispered funny things and made small jokes. Someone said, "Tomorrow, let's ride the camel." Everyone laughed softly. The wind outside was strong, but we felt warm with our blankets and the body heat inside the tent. I could hear the soft sound of the fire outside, almost gone now. One of my friends turned on the small lamp, and we looked at old pictures on his phone. Camping trips, school days, family moments. We talked about everything. Then we turned off the lamp and tried to sleep. I looked at the top of the tent and smiled. What a beautiful trip this was. The smell of grilled meat still stayed in my nose. The taste of hot tea and salty snacks was still fresh. The best part of the desert? The stars, the silence, the talk, and the strong feeling of being together. I closed my eyes. In the cold air, with my soft blanket, I felt comfortable. I slept thinking of the next trip with my friends. The next morning, I woke up early. The desert was still quiet. The sun was just starting to rise, and everything looked golden. Some of my friends were still sleeping, but I stepped outside the tent. The air was cold, and I wrapped my blanket around my shoulders. I walked a little and looked at the camel. It was still near the tree, calm and peaceful. I made a small fire using dry wood. Then I made some tea, the best way to start the day. The steam from the cup went into the air, and I breathed it in slowly. Soon, one by one, my friends came out. Still sleepy, with messy hair, but smiling. We sat together on the same chairs, with the same lamp and the same cooler. But the feeling was different. Quiet, soft, peaceful. We didn't talk much, just drank tea, shared some snacks, and watched the sunset turn into sunlight. After a while, we packed everything. We folded the tent, cleaned the space, and put the trash in the car. We didn't want to leave a mess in the beautiful desert. Before we left, we stood together and took a photo. All of us, holding our blankets, smiling in the morning light. A memory we'd always keep. We got in the cars and started driving back home. The trip was over, but the feeling stayed. The smell of tea, the taste of grilled meat, the quiet talk, and the deep night under the stars. Back in the city, everything felt fast and loud again. But inside me, I still felt calm, like I was still in the desert with my friends.